Alright, for this video in 8.5, we're going to, basically everything's going to be the same. We're going to factor out the GCF. We're going to factor out the GCF, but now there's going to be an equal sign, so it's going to allow us to solve for x. Now, I'm going to kind of go over this warm-up very quickly. It says use mental math to get the answer. For 1 and 2, you're just multiplying everything left to right. I'm not going to go over everything to this. This is the main thing. Okay? The main thing is this 0. The other numbers are useless. If you have 0 in there, well, if you multiply anything by 0, you get 0. So the answer for that's going to be 0. This, well, if you multiply it by 0, that gives you 0. This is the zero product property. What that tells you is if you multiply any number by 0, it equals 0. So I'm going to say if you have A times B and it equals 0, what we can conclude is either A equals 0 or B equals 0. One of them could be 0 or both of them could be 0. Now it's real important because now we're going to solve equations. We're going to look at the first section where it says solve an equation that is already factored out. When we do this, we can tell it's already factored out because we have parentheses. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Alright. So number 1's already factored out. Now there's two factors. This is the GCF, the 3x, and then this is the second factor, x minus 2. So it's basically saying 3x times the quantity of x minus 2 equals 0. If we use the zero product property, what this means is the first factor, 3x, that has to equal 0. Or the second factor, this x minus 2, that has to equal 0. And then you just have very easy, straightforward one-step equations. So if the 3x equals 0, if you just divide by 3, 0 divided by 3 gives you 0. So you have x equals 0. That's a solution. Then if x minus 2 equals 0, well, you just add 2 to each side. 0 plus 2 gives you 2. So x equals 2, that's the second solution. And it makes sense. Look, if you plug 2 into this, x, 2 minus 2 is 0, and 0 times anything gives you 0. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. Number 2, we have x times the quantity of 5x minus 2 equals 0. So this x, that's the GCF. Let's set the GCF equal to 0. Now you really can't do anything to that. If x equals 0, well then x equals 0. And then we're going to take the second factor, which is what we have on the inside, 5x minus 2. We're going to set that equal to 0. Now this, unfortunately, you're going to need a fraction. This is a two-step equation. We're going to add 2 to each side. So we have 5x equals 0 plus 2 is 2. Then divide by 5. So we get x to equal 2/5. So these are the two solutions. X equals 0 and x equals this 2/5. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do number 3. Okay, now if I do number 3, we have 4 times the quantity of 4x minus 2. This 4, that's the GCF. Now this is a little bit different. Well, if I take 4 instead of equal to 0, it doesn't really make sense. There's no variable. 4 is a constant, so it never can equal 0. So what that means is this can never equal 0. So the only thing we care about is this factor, 4x minus 2, because that has a variable. So if we have 4x minus 2 equals 0, again, it's going to be a two-step equation. We're going to add 2 to each side. So we get 4x to equal 0 plus 2 is 2. Then we're going to divide by 4. We get x to equal 2/4, which reduces to 1/2. So this is an example where you just get one solution. So you only get one solution if there's no x on the outside. Most of these ones that we're going to cover, you're going to get two solutions. So if it's factored out, it's real easy. Just take the factors and set them equal to 0.